And a drive from Palm. It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a three for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing,
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
Saints and 20 years in the NFL. Our dad is finally gonna retire, so we can spend more time with us. Yay!
Drew Brees more time with the Little Breezers. And they're pretty fired up about it. Been a hell of a career for Drew Brees. Announced yesterday that he retired, and then they went and signed Taysom Hill for 4 years and $140 million. What's up, y'all? Merry Monday. Micah? Please? Thank you. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. What a weekend, man. You've got brackets probably sitting in your hands right now. You've got a pool to win. You've got your champions picked. You've decided who was snubbed and who was not. We'll go through all of it. JJ, how was the weekend?
Weekend was good. It was busy. It was entertaining, and I'm ready for a little madness next weekend.
Kind of weird, huh? So it won't be Thursday. It's going to be like just different schedules as you go through it, and that's going to be just something to get used to. But look, man, as we go through COVID, there's everything's kind of to get used to. So it probably was essential for teams like Virginia, who I guess their whole team's in quarantine. JJ, I mean that's what Tony Bennett's saying. Everybody on their entire roster is in quarantine right now, and so. For them to play, maybe they needed that extra day. They probably did. You know, they probably needed that extra time. So, we'll go through the brackets. Anything jump off the page to you with the brackets? Are you good with them?
It really didn't. I was good with the selection. There are a couple that you should start looking into. It was really intriguing when you looked at the last 4 out, the teams that are on standby right now. When you look at Louisville, Colorado State, Ole Miss, St. Louis. I think Colorado State has a really intriguing case if you compare them to a team like Wichita State. Mm-hmm. I wasn't all that upset when Louisville was left out. I know that was a team that everyone was talking about, but they really didn't have all that much. They had they were 1-6, I think, in their quadrant 1 opportunities. But overall, kind of panned out how we thought. Mountain West got 2 in. Big to see Utah State sneaking in there as an 11 seed. San Diego State moving all the way up to 6 for them. It's a really intriguing matchup opportunity in the first and potentially second round if they win. So I think it turned out well for the Mountain West, and with as weird as this season was, not a lot of gripes.
Well, I think there were a few things. On Utah, I think Utah State earned their way in. I think did Jerry have them as his last team out?
I'm not sure what Jerry had on Utah State, but they're right there on that bubble. But to see what they were able to do in picking up those victories late, making it to the Mountain West title game, but avoiding a bad loss. And that's what we saw down the stretch happen with Colorado State losing that final game to Nevada. It wasn't a death blow, but it means they were 0-3 versus the Wolfpack. What we saw happen to Boise State, they had bad losses down the stretch to lose to Fresno State and then to go one and done in the Mountain West tournament, which is why we saw them really slide all the way off the bubble into clearly being out. but it's a situation for Utah State, as Jeff said, earning their way in as an 11. And it's still, I think, ultimately was the best case scenario for the Mountain West to get two teams in, two good basketball teams that are going to have an opportunity. I think even Utah State in their matchup against Texas Tech, it's fascinating. One, Texas Tech is good. They're not the juggernaut defensively that we've seen Chris Beard's team be, but it's going to have an opportunity. Neemias Queta is coming in off a strong finish to the season, was right there in contention to be Mountain West Player of the Year. Mac McClung, a transfer from Georgetown, is an outstanding scorer this year for Texas Tech. I think it sets up nicely for the Mountain West to potentially make some noise in the NCAA tournament. And the one thing was watching how did it play out at the very top of the number one seeds in the tournament, and then looking at the way Alabama finished this season, winning the SEC championship, beating LSU. And I think the difference was just the depth atop the Big Ten to what we saw happen with Michigan. Illinois holding on to that spot. And Illinois just unbelievable run to finish the season. You got to feel good about selecting them in your bracket. Gonzaga, the number one overall seed, but it is just fantastic to be in this situation looking ahead to March Madness. As Jeff mentioned, the first weekend is going to be a little bit different because we start on Friday this week. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for the first and second round games of the NCAA men's bracket this weekend. So there's that extra day built in, but that Thursday is going to be all the first four games played in Dayton. So it's a little different in terms of the tournament. It does start on Thursday, but the first four is not on Tuesday like it usually is, because they have that window, because Tuesday night's the final day for the NCAA to put one of those teams that is the last four out. Those would be the first fill-ins in multi-bid conferences. If a team from a one-bid conference is unable to play in the next 48 hours, a team from that same conference will replace them.
Man, did I have good takes. Did you hear any of them before I cut out?
No.
Nothing at all. All right, that's fair. I was just saying, as we're the bid stealers, we're stealing bids. Did you hear any of that? None of that? As the Oregon States and the Georgia Techs and the Georgetowns, that's where the Mountain West bids went. That's where, the Colorado State bid went. And I think we all knew it, right? I think as you were watching it go down on Friday and Saturday, Georgia Tech and Georgetown and Oregon State and Wayne Tinkle and his team, that's, to me, I think, Colorado State, obviously they earned their way in. They would have been in if it wasn't for those bid stealers. So it was just a crazy week. And I think that's the madness. I think, in those who scream for, and I don't think this is the majority, but those who want everybody to be in the NCAA tournament. In some respect, everybody is, because Georgetown wasn't, but now they are. I mean, everybody's got a chance to play into the final bracket.
They do. I still think it's really intriguing to look at a regular season conference champ, but when the system is set up the way it is, you still have to finish the season strong, win your way in. And that is why when we're talking with Jerry Palm, we're asking questions about, hey, Jerry, where does this team fit? And it's like, well, it can be good, but because of the bid stealers, and it shrinks the bubble every single year at the very end.
Yeah. Do you like any dark horses? I mean, everybody loves Colgate. I'm not sure I do. I mean, I like Colgate. I just don't know that I like that matchup for Colgate. I think Arkansas is tough. Everybody loves UC Santa Barbara. I can get into that. The Winthrop thing. Have you gone through your bracket and just say, yep, these are the ones I like?
Yeah, the one right out of the gate is Winthrop. Going against Villanova, we saw them lose their starting point guard a couple weeks ago, and I think that is the one matchup where the majority of the public is going to be on Winthrop.
Yeah, it feels that way. And UC Santa Barbara over Creighton, and I would just because Creighton looks so bad in their conference final against Georgetown, but Creighton's been really, really nice. I'm not sure I'm ready to bounce that one yet. And then it's hard because they're a major conference champion. Oregon State, Tennessee intrigues me, and Wayne's got them playing really, really well. Did you watch the Pac-12 final at all?
Wayne Tinkle is a wizard to get Oregon State to the NCAA tournament again in that situation. Unbelievable run that they went on, and they looked fantastic throughout the entire tournament. It wasn't just one where got lucky, hit a late shot here. They looked really good throughout the whole way, and they almost knocked a couple other teams off that bubble in the Pac-12 on their way. And to beat Colorado, it was a fantastic game.
They beat Oregon before that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm looking at that's a team that is hot, is riding the momentum, and I could be writing down Oregon State in the second round.
Yeah, I think I've got Michigan State getting through UCLA, and I think I've got them getting through BYU, and maybe getting to Texas is an interesting matchup. So we got a lot to do there. Lobo coaching search obviously is big. You've read 3 names. So here's what I know, JJ. I do know that Eddie conducted interviews over the weekend. I do know that there are no offers that I know that firsthand as of this morning. There are no offers that have been given away. Richard Pitino is still in the mix. I've been told this morning, though, the 3 names, Richard Pitino, Tim Miles, and Kyle Keller, that 2 are still in the mix, and there is another dark horse. And this is coming to me pretty much firsthand, okay? And Richard Pitino is one that's still in the mix. I still haven't seen anywhere that he's been released. Now, I mean, that's the places he wants to go somewhere where we can win championships, right? Richard Pitino wants to go somewhere that you can win championships. And Minnesota's tough to win consistently. And it's somewhat the same thing with Tim Miles. Did you see Tim Miles' name up with the Minnesota job if it opens up? Tim Miles' name is up for that job. Did you see that?
It feels like Tim Miles is just throwing it everywhere he can at this moment in time.
And it's up there with some a lot more energy in Minnesota from their fan base than it is here. But anyway, I think it gets wrapped up here soon. So I think the 2 names that are I know Richard Pitino is one of the 2, and I think Tim Miles is the other that's still in the mix. And Kyle Keller, but I'm told there's another dark horse. I don't know if that's Frank Martin. I don't know who the other name is, but that's where that is. But obviously a lot going on. But I've been told straight up this morning that 2 of those 3 names are still in the mix, and there is another dark horse. So that's where we are.
Yeah, and this stuff, when it started to trickle out late Friday night that Richard Pitino was interviewing, it wasn't a surprise, given the fact the relationship and names we started to talk about last week. He was one of the names. I know kind of Frank Martin, Tim Miles got a lot of the buzz, but Richard Pitino shouldn't surprise anyone just with the connections and running down kind of Eddie Nunez and his basketball background. The Keller one was a new one that I hadn't really thought about at that point in time, but I really do like it because I think this is what you need to do. I'm really glad that at least one of the guys at a mid-major that's had a recent winning track record, that's done some really good things at Siembieda Austin, is on the list, because that's what you want to see, them covering all their bases, right? Looking at maybe guys with quote-unquote a name that are struggling, or someone like Richard Pitino that needs to reignite his coaching career. And people be like, why are they looking at Richard Pitino? Why would he want to come to New Mexico? Because he needs to win. He needs to reignite. It doesn't matter his last name's Pitino. He needs to get back that good vibe of coaching and being 500 the last couple of years at Minnesota. He'd be looking to reignite that. So it was a very interesting list, and I think it's one that now potentially another name that we're not talking about makes it even more intriguing.
All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. That's how to get to the, obviously a ton to do today. We're going to get through, go through your brackets, go through the coaching search. We got to talk about the Aggies getting run out of the building by Team Talk A Lot. Team Talk A Lot did something. Team Talk A Lot looked really, 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 really good. We'll get into that. The NIT selection stuff, Drew Brees, high school football of the weekend, the Players Championship, I thought was really good. I don't know how much of that you got to watch, but I thought that was really good. Justin Thomas wins that down at Ponte Vedra Beach. So we got a ton to do. Emails will come in this morning. Jeff@sportsanimalabq.com, JJ@sportsanimalabq.com. You're watching ProView Networks and listening to the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Just Getting Started with Rich Eisen has stories of humble beginnings and humbling moments from inspiring people.
Matthew McConaughey. Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
That ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wrap around pass.
Harris with Gates. The long bomb. 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
The whole little jump step in the... And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake. Everyone bites. Ramos hits. Jackson loses it. Jalen Bond back. LAU. Put it down. Dunkalicious. How about it?
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
Here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Trying to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. DC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh. Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
It's a tough bracket to get through, isn't it? I mean, I find myself, I can make a case for so many different teams to get to the Sweet 16. It's the opening drive as you fill out your bracket. Jeff, JJ. J-Pole's producing on the TV side. You can watch the show on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM, and on radio side, it's Micah. So let's finish finish. Let's continue because we're never going to finish until it's done. The thoughts on the level coaching search. What's the feel? As it emerged, and I think I sent you a note, shortly after our show on on Friday that I think if Patino leaves Minnesota, I think there's a really good chance, right? That he's the guy. I think the Frank Martin thing is still alive. That's just me. I haven't seen either one of them part ways with their current institutions. What do you think of Patino? The name is interesting, but what do you think of him with the opportunity here, coming off of some success in a place that's really hard to win at Minnesota? Because you could make the same conversation for Tim Miles that you are for Rick Pitino. I think Pitino just excites people a heck of a lot more than Tim Miles, right?
Yeah, there was a little more excitement on Richard Pitino. I think there were still some of the same question marks going, well, what is the big deal? The big deal is, if you're good enough to not just tread water, but be a coach that is above 500 overall at a Big Ten institution, you do have to take that into account. Now, both their conference records aren't great. If you look at Tim Miles and then Richard Pitino, actually ran down his recruiting classes since 2015. They've been anywhere from like 30 to 70, 24/7 sports. It's back into the Big Ten. So it's a challenge. But it's one that if you look at his connections, and it would be Eddie Nunez going down that Rick Pitino and Billy Donovan branch. So what he's used to, so that there's a relationship there, and so that's what we have to take into account, because I know some people are questioning, where did that name come from? Well, that is where it came from. And then just the overall basketball connections. You look at Richard Pitino, who does he know? What did his staff look like? He's been in that recruiting grind. So where could he get players? What kind of relationships does he have in terms of transfer market as well? I think that's going to be key over the next couple of years to put this roster in position to compete, as well as find some sustainability. So I'm very intrigued about Richard Pitino. Now, I think other people would be, is because they feel that they saw Tim Miles. Like, they know what he is in the Mountain West. And I think that's the difference where, two guys, if they were both coming off that Big Ten record, you could talk yourself into it, going, oh, Nebraska, Minnesota, okay, they did some good things there. But the Tim Miles piece, a lot of people just said, it's been there, done that. What's different now?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of similarities there. I think it's guys who have won at a level, but not a high championship level at places that aren't historically good. Now, Florida International for 1 year for Richard Pitino. By every account, he can recruit. Now, not necessarily in his home state, but I'm not going to hold that against Richard Pitino. It feels to me, it would almost be like holding against a Lobo coach that you weren't able to keep Bobby Newcomb home from Nebraska, or you weren't able to keep a kid from, in New Mexico from going to Oklahoma or something. And I'm trying to think of the athletes in recent days, but like it's not even the Keyshawn Banks going to San Diego State, because that's a different story. But going to power schools, if you're a young athlete and you get an opportunity to go to a warm weather, and get out of town, I'm not, and go to a historically rich program, I guess I'm not going to hold that against him. And I know a lot of people in Minnesota are saying he hasn't been able to keep the best Minnesota athletes at home. I'm not sure anybody's going to be able to do that. I don't know that PJ Fleck is doing that in football, and I don't know that anybody's going to be able to do that in basketball. I go back to Minnesota, and this is what I was telling you last Friday on this show. Who's won there? Dan Monson didn't win there. Tommy Smith didn't win there. Nobody did. Clem Haskins won there, but he had to cheat, and he got to put on probation. So it's a tough spot. I'm going to assume he can coach. Obviously, he can recruit, and I think I'm good with that name. Like I'm as you go down there, I'm good, and I know firsthand that he wants to go to a place where he can win, and you can win at New Mexico. And no matter what Wayne tells me, you can win at New Mexico in this league, and so there's a little bit of excitement to that. I'm going to guess Tim Miles is still in the mix. He was interviewed over the weekend. The Kyle Keller thing really does intrigue me as well, because he's won there, and there's been something to that. And I don't hate that path of a guy who's won it somewhere and coming up now. I think he's 57 years old, which doesn't bother me at all. But Is it 53? Okay, that doesn't bother me at all. A guy in his 50s. So I was okay. You know, and the more I think about the Tim Miles thing, while it doesn't just light my fire, just listening to his reputation outside of maybe even just this town. I don't know. You know, everything is, you know, great guy. Yeah, nobody doubted that. Like, that's never been a knock on Tim. You know, can he win? Would this be the best situation for if he came to New Mexico out of Colorado State, Nebraska, and New Mexico? Wouldn't you say New Mexico gave him the best chance to win championships?
It would, given the fact where Colorado State was. Now, New Mexico's in a similar position right now. They're at the bottom, like Colorado State was when he took over.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like there is more emphasis placed on men's basketball at New Mexico than maybe there was at Colorado State at the time, in terms of resources, what you have, and as we've seen things play out, Colorado State's in a much different position now as an athletic department for their sports overall. And I think that's the thing, is I don't think anyone is questioning Tim Miles. It's Paul Weir, right? Good guy, and I think there's just a lot of fans don't know what sentence to put after. Oh, Tim Miles, that's cool. He's a good guy, but can he coach? Can he recruit? Like, what is the deal? And for Minnesota, I think is a little bit better basketball school than Nebraska. If we're looking at it in a Big Ten conversation over the last couple of years, Pitino's done a little bit more there as an NIT championship. You can give him credit for that. What he's done. 2 NCAA tournament appearances, but I just really think a lot of it just goes back to they've seen Tim Miles in this conference, and they don't really know what's changed since he's left. That would make you feel like, yeah, Tim Miles is definitely on it now, coming back.
Yeah, the more I thought about it, I've softened on it. I mean, it's, you know, I would absolutely give it a chance. It doesn't ignite fireworks for me, but the Pitino thing really seemed to gain traction, and I don't know about you, but the more people I talk to, well, I hope he's good. He's going to be better than Miles. Well, I don't know if he does have to be better than Miles or not. You know, if you look at what they did at their respective Big 12 schools, it's not horribly different, is it?
They're very similar records overall about how those teams perform in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and so I'm down with that, and then you know, a dark horse. And I don't know. Have you seen anything on Frank Martin or Tim Miles at their respective schools? Because I've not. Have you?
Nothing on Frank Martin or Richard Pitino. And you wonder too how far, say, Richard got in this process. You know, would Minnesota at that point in time work on agreeing to part ways with him to move on to another job and then handle that stuff behind the scenes, maybe cut his buyout some if he's moving on to a new job? Who knows?
Yeah, the whole thing, the language in his buyout that we've been reading, that he's got to actively seek another job, which obviously he's doing, and I don't believe that this would just be to fulfill that so he would get his buyout as he leaves. I don't believe that, although that's part of the process for him. He's got to actively pursue employment. I you know, by every account, and if you to your point, if you trace the branches, Pitino to Billy Donovan, and you mentioned Billy Donovan again the other day, and off that tree, there's Richard Pitino with Eddie Nunez. So it makes a lot of sense. 505-246-0610 is how to get to us today. 888-922-0610. Emails, and they're coming in. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ@sportsanimalabq.com. You can find us on the Twitter. It's _JJ Buck, and on the Facebook, the OD in the AM. I'll get a bunch of emails to you as we go. I want your thoughts on the brackets, what you watched over the weekend, Mountain West Conference Championship. We'll get into the Aggies when we get back. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Get a little closer. Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
he'll just shoot it. He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagle.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that anything better. He answered the question.
On
got another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji!
All right, opening drive on 95.9 FM. AM 670 Sports Animal. Aggies got beat by 18 points on Saturday night in the WAC championship by Team Talk A Lot. Boy, Team Talk A Lot showed up, didn't they? I think the Aggies, were out of gas, and I will say this. I think they got beat by a better team. They beat them 3 times. At that point, it kind of has to tell you that's the better team. I thought New Mexico State didn't play their best game. But I think that what Grand Canyon put together, they've got athletes, they've got bigs, they defended, they hit shots, and they were not tired. And playing that extra game, JJ, it's the first time that the Aggies have had to play all the way through, right? The top 2 teams in that league have gotten a bye through to the semifinals, and I don't know if that played into it. I don't know if they were 1 and 2 that it would have been a different result. I just watched in that game, Grand Canyon was just better than they were.
Grand Canyon was a better team. Beating UTRGV, playing 1 extra game, to me did not factor into what we saw in New Mexico State. What we saw at the Aggies was a team that couldn't find a rhythm all year long, given the things that they went through, their extended pause back in late December into January. But yet they made it to the WAC championship game. And it's a credit to Christians, it's a credit to those players that even not at their best, they can still find a way to be right there on the doorstep. Grand Canyon was absolutely the better basketball team because once again, you saw a New Mexico State team shoot under 40%. Once again, you saw a New Mexico State team that struggled mightily offensively, and it came back to bite them because when they went on their runs, they had that low push in the second half. That hole was just too deep because of the first half that Grand Canyon put together.
Yeah, it was a deep hole, and it was a 19-9 run or something along those lines. It got away from them, and they never could shoot their way back in. They got to 13. Gilliard was good. I mean, I love the way McCants played. Just not enough. And for them, it was a season. I think Chris is a terrific coach, and they were never able, to me, to recover from that month and a half where they played the one game. And it took them. Chris said, we weren't a very good team, and we became a good team. And I think he's right. I think they were a good basketball team. I think by the end of the year, they were playing well. I would have liked to see. Chris told me going into the conference, he said, I would like another week and a half to get ready, and you don't have it. This is the way it is. They were behind, but many teams were. Look, Baylor was, but they didn't have the luxury that some other teams, just being extremely talented, of taking that long time off. They lost so much development, and again, Chris has said this, and he said it to me, and he said it in the press conference. He says, nobody will ever know what we went through. He says, except for the guys who were with this, nobody's ever going to know the stuff that happened. And I think that's probably right. And you look at what the women did for UNM, win a conference championship, and they're going to go to the postseason, and what they went through, what the teams in New Mexico went through, it's different. And hence, none of them are playing in the NCAA tournament, I don't think, unless the Lobos get the invite today, which would be amazing. We're going to go there. But I think what Chris did to turn them around, I think is pretty good. There's a reason you have all these practices. There's a reason you go through camp. There's a reason all these things happen. And when you get behind, look, Grand Canyon didn't have that. Grand Canyon was a team that basically played their full season. They didn't have a big COVID shutdown. And, if you're down years, you finish runner-up in your conference, you lose in your conference championship game, I think your program's in a pretty good spot.
It is, and I don't think anyone is questioning that with New Mexico State. It was just the trend that we saw, and this team was just always a step behind. It was impressive to see them make it that far, given everything that they've gone through. It's still a credit to the program and this team overall to get there. But Grand Canyon was just playing at a different level. And now you finally can start talking about this as a rivalry moving forward, because you can't always have one team just destroying the other and think, oh, this is a great rivalry. Nope. Here we go, though, because Grand Canyon finally punches their ticket. They did it beating New Mexico State, which is huge for them to get over the hump against the Aggies in the title game. It wasn't against Utah Valley or anyone else, but to still beat New Mexico State, that definitely will resonate for Grand Canyon. And now you're going to have even a little bit more, because really all Grand Canyon has brought to the table is the fans. And all right, you have some students that travel to Las Cruces, you have energy in those games. Well, now they got something else going into next year that New Mexico State's going to be chomping at the bit to get back, because this team got the wins this year.
Yeah, no, that's right. It's finally, the nail finally hit back and hit the hammer. And now you have a rivalry. Raul, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Raul.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, you know what? Instead of hiring two guys that have proven to be mediocre and average in Miles and Patino, why don't they give New Mexico dollars to a New Mexico kid and hire Mikey Dominguez? At least he's up and coming.
I love Mikey too. But has he ever been a head coach? Oh, he's gone. I love Mikey. I don't think he's an assistant up at Highlands, or he was. I don't. In fact, I don't. I saw Mikey this summer. He was an assistant on Craig Snow's staff. Do you know who Mikey Dominguez is? Yeah,
no, not personally.
No, I like him a lot. And I love Mikey. Actually, played golf with him this summer. It's the ball pretty well. And it's funny because he knew the guy off of number 13. He was, oh, hey, there's my buddy. And went over, talked with him a while, and came back with a beer. I'm like, you know everybody. But I don't know that he's ever been a head coach. All right, 505-246-0610. What did you think of the Mountain West final?
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
The Aztecs getting the job done. I think they're feeling really good. Who was that big that they threw at Cada that I felt like I haven't seen this dude all year long?
Yeah.
And there's just that guy coming off the bench as well in the backcourt. And for them to jump all the way up to 6. Get away from that 8-9 games. Have a 1 in the second round. You're going to have to play someone good. It's the NCAA tournament. It potentially would be West Virginia if the seeds hold into the second round. But I thought that was a big jump for San Diego State.
So I don't know how much it was a jump. And as we listen to Jerry and we look at bracketologists, and they've been on that 8-9 line, and you start doing all the analysis. And all my idiot buddies were on this thread, and we're saying that everything about their resume says 6, 18 in the net, 18 in the RPI, beat UCLA, which became a less and less of a victory. They lost 4 games, right? They lost that crazy game to Colorado State, where they came from 26. They lost the 2 in Logan. One of them was out without Mitchell. And then they lost that really close game to Brigham Young. Everything about them said 6. They'd won 14 in a row. I don't know that it was crazy, and I don't know that it was a crazy jump. It was a crazy jump because we're looking at Jerry and Lenardi or whatever you're looking at. What do you think of the matchup? They're going to have to play this zone. It really comes down to Shackle and Gomez, doesn't it? Because as much as you talk about how Mensah played, and Mensah was terrific against Keita. Mensah was harassing against Keita, and he really benefited from postseason refereeing, because I don't think they were fouls, but I think in January some of those pokes might have been fouls, and he got one cheap one like that. But I thought he really, really frustrated, and I thought when Tamajic came in, he frustrated Keita too. But this comes down to the Aztecs advance if they hit shots, and this is because you're going to see the 2-3 zone from Syracuse. And by the way, Boeheim's kid is as good a shooter as there is in college basketball right now. Is he not, Buddy Boeheim? He's terrific. But it's going to come down. They're going to see the 2-3 zone. It's going to be a slow down game, which I think San Diego State is okay with. They like to run, but they're comfortable playing a half-court set. How does Mensah do in the post? But I think this really comes down to they hit shots. And so it's Shackle and Gomez, but guys like Butler, Mitchell are going to have to step out and the point guard, why am I forgetting his name? Number 4, Pulliam. I thought Pulliam was terrific on Saturday.
Yeah, this is a matchup most teams might be looking at it going, oh, Syracuse is going to try to slow us down. It's going to be a grind. But San Diego State is like, yes, please. Like, this is the kind of basketball we love. If it's 10-8 with 10 minutes to go in the first half, they'll be fine with it. And that's why I think it's a really good matchup for San Diego State, because the one thing I'm watching this program as they've gone on this run really over the last decade or so is they're not bothered by a certain style. If we've seen them play kind of up-tempo games, get going offensively, but ultimately they want to grind with you, make it look ugly. They're comfortable there, and I think that's why they're in a really good position to beat that zone against a Syracuse team that wants to slow everything down, at times isn't great offensively, and this is where San Diego State loves to live.
What do you think of their draw? Because if they get through, they probably get West Virginia and Huggy Bear, which is a really good team, but not invincible. And this is the key to getting off that 7-8 line. And then probably Houston, which would be a revenge game for Man Bun from about 3 years ago when that dude hit a shot. Do you remember Man Bun's name? I remember.
Nope.
Man Bun hit that shot at the end in the first round, that great Houston-San Diego State first round game. I see a path to the Elite Eight for them.
Oh, yeah.
Is that ridiculous?
It's not ridiculous. You're happy to be away from an 8-9 game, and you're right. As the week rolled on, you got into the week, and you started to see the resumes stack up. To your point, yeah, it's not shocking that they were a 6, but I was a little surprised that they got the benefit of their total resume at the very end, because we saw a lot of teams, and I think this is something that it's not just this year, but moving forward, the final few days, other than being a bid stealer, it doesn't really change much, because I thought Alabama had a strong case to jump up to the 1 line, but what you do late on Sunday, it might be even too late for the committee to take into account.
Yeah, I like. You know what? Mike Dominguez is a head coach, by the way, up at Highlands. I'm thinking of the other Mikey up there. Mike Dominguez is the head coach. He was on Craig Snow's staff, and he is the head coach up at Highlands. That's who Raul was talking about. He has been a head coach. It has been for the last 2 years. All right, I want to talk about the Utah State seed as well when we get back. 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. That's the number, 505-246-0610. The women tonight will find out their fate. The NCAA selection show is going to be here. Is that a good omen? Does it make you feel better? You can get in on the coaching search as well. 505-246-0610. Your emails are coming in. Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. New week, but same truths, gentlemen. As you roll through your day, think about this. If you're dealing with things like fatigue or low T, even hair loss, all that is natural as men age. There's a really good chance that it'll happen to you. There's also a really good chance that you can battle nature. You just got to pick up the phone and call New Mail. If you're experiencing these things, you're regularly tired, maybe carrying a few extra pounds, or you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, I suggest you call New Mail. New Mail has used their technology, cutting-edge technology, to lead the way on these issues for years. It's testosterone replacement. It utilizes the latest and greatest there is in this field, and men all over the country are benefiting from it. They feel better. The number is 505-652-1688. That's 505-652-1688. You can visit Newmail, NUMALE.com. Fellas, Newmail's convenient. They're right here in Albuquerque. The process is comfortable. It starts with your phone call all the way through the treatment. Newmail guides you through the process. And the best part is the results are absolutely real. Don't put this off. Take care of you. Newmail, 505-652-1688, or visit newmail.com and feel better.
Discover matches all the cash.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
The deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good. Here's Ramos. Step back. High arcing.
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer. Up top! Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack. Davina Lovato up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a...
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds, into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Portel.
Davis in the play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown.
So Davison back to toss it. He's got all day. This and rolling.
He's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
We told you he
touchdown.
Could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the win in his back, but.
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores.
Cut into it. And had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo.
Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on and goal. Deflected in.
Lobo women's soccer winner over the weekend, 3-0. They shut out Utah State. Hope you watched that. With J.J. Buck on the call. Lobo baseball went 1-2 over the weekend in Fresno. Got another great pitching performance in their victory. Lost on a walk-off yesterday in the rubber match in Fresno. Lobo women's basketball will learn their fate today. The selection show is tonight, and ESPN will be with you in a basketball. JJ, your gut, and I think your gut tells me what my gut tells me, that they're not going to get in. To Bradbury's point, they've won more games than more road games than anybody in the country. They're 15-4. Now, 19 games isn't a lot of games, and it could be maybe the sample size isn't going to be big enough. 15-4, they won a league that's not great but not horrible. There's no non-conference games to look at all. I mean, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and West Texas, I mean, there's nothing to look at all, which to me is probably what's going to keep them out. But when Bradbury says, you're going to put in a 4-10 Ole Miss or something like that over this team, that's where I've argued for years, JJ. Teams that finish well under 500 in their league as opposed to a team like this, and I know the competition. I got it. There's no exact science on this, but I think they should get in.
Great story, and I think that's going to be ending for the Lobos tonight, and they will be in the WNIT. I believe they'll be featured for however many seconds. Like, hey, let's take a look at the Mountain West regular season champ, New Mexico
Boy,
Lobos.
what a tough year.
But 2 games on the road. Good job. And then they call someone else. I think that's what's going to happen, because to your point, there's just not enough there. There's not even one marquee non-conference game to really add to that list for New Mexico. And it's a great year. It's not done. They'll be playing some postseason basketball.
Rudy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Rudy.
Good morning. Yeah, that would be a crock if the women don't get in. It was a crazy tournament. They're as good a representative for the NCAA tournament as anybody, and I wish them the best. I think this is where that Power 5 bias really needs to be addressed. UNM played what they played because that's all they could play. So there's a lot of teams that didn't do anything in the preseason also and just played their conference games. And I really think that you should have at least 500, if not a winning record in your conference to be considered.
I agree.
I think it's just ridiculous that teams with losing records in their conference get in the NCAA tournament. Like for the men, Michigan State. Colorado State had a winning record. They belong there more than Michigan State did. So
I've said that for years, but I've been shot down.
And that rule needs to be passed. If you can't even have a winning record in your conference, what kind of representative are you being? Or is this just all loaded because you're a Wisconsin or you're a Rutgers or you're a Michigan State?
Yes. Yeah, and that's what JJ and Jerry have told me for years, that I'm wrong on that because their competition is better, and they're right, their competition is better. But I don't see, New Mexico turning down the Pac-12 or Gonzaga turning down the Big Ten.
No, and that's the point.
Not beating these teams in non-conference either.
By the way, I don't see
Gonzaga
those schools
is
rushing to play New Mexico in the pit.
Yeah.
Do you? So, I hope the women get in. By the way, you forgot one team, the cross country, and let's see if the women can go nail down another national championship. They certainly look poised to do that. They're running very, very well right now, and if they can run like they ran when they won the national championship, what was it, 2 years ago? I think it was. And last year they finished fourth.
Three.
So I'll be watching ESPNU this morning at 10:50 and see if in less than 20 minutes New Mexico can win a national championship in cross country again. That's quite a program that Joe Franklin's built. And, the guys, they just got to get that out of their head. That's 3 games I think they've lost on a walk-off, and you worry about that because that can become a habit.
Yep, well, it's the back end of that bullpen, and I know Ray likes his pitching. All right, we'll talk tomorrow after the cross-country. Rudy, enjoy the race today.
Yeah, and go blue. Let's see if Michigan can do something with that number 1 seed, right? They lost Livers.
They got it.
Maybe they'll get him back.
It's tough without him. All right, be well.
Yep.
JJ, I know your argument on that. I've always said that. You're in a league. I think you should. I've always thought you should be at least 500 in your league to qualify for the NCAA tournament. And we don't have time in this before this break to go through that. But we've been down that conversation quite a bit. All right, keep them coming. Tell me your thoughts on your brackets. Aggie fan, want to hear your thoughts on the season. We can get into the coaching search as well. I've been told that 2 of the 3 names you've been hearing, and Richard Pitino is one of them, are still in the mix. There is a dark horse that's not being mentioned as well. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. Day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wild catch! Not a defender inside. A little
hit.
Kowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and J.J. Buck.
If his name was Richard Turman, would Lobo fans give him a second look? It's from Gopher. It's kind of interesting that that's from Gopher, considering from where Richard Pitino would be coming. I think they might. Are you getting excited about the name that is one of the 3 finalists reportedly? And I think that's right. Not just reportedly, I think I confirmed that for the Lobo coaching job. It's the opening drive, Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. It's a fair question. If he was Micah's uncle, would you care that he was the guy that was getting let go at Minnesota? Would that interest you at all? Same background.
You know the answer to the question.
Yeah, would Micah?
We have people that are talking about name recognition, so that absolutely plays into it. How many people have said hire a name, make sure it's a flash? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, this is one where relationship comes into play. Eddie Nunez, his background, what kind of branches does he want to go down? So absolutely the name is playing differently in this case for Richard Pitino.
Yeah, and Raul says hire Mike Dominguez, the head coach at Highlands. All right. Okay. Like Richard Pitino's done stuff on his own. This isn't just he's riding daddy's coattails on this. Richard has gone out and he has done plenty of things on his own. A great coach? I don't know. It sounds like JJ he can recruit. By every account, he can recruit. He was where's his tree? He was at Louisville. He worked under Billy Donovan at Florida. So he's on that same line. And look, Billy Donovan, can we all agree on that? Billy Donovan's a spectacular coach.
He's pretty good.
Well, he's won national championships. He's
natties, doing a pretty good job in the NBA now.
Yeah, so he's off of that tree. Now, that doesn't mean anything. He went to FIU. And do you remember who he replaced at FIU by any chance? When he took over Florida International, he was the associate head coach at Louisville, and he went to FIU in 2012. By any chance, you remember who he took over for?
Nope, but I'm sure it's a name that we'll recognize then.
Isaiah Thomas. And it's not like he killed it there. Now, he finished 5th at FIU. He went 11-9, 18 in league, 18-14 overall. And so what's he done at Minnesota? 25-13, 7th in his league. He's finished 7th, 10th, 13th, 4th, 11th, 7th, 12th, and 13th. So look, I think Richard Pitino can coach. He's 38 years old. He spent 8 years in the Big Ten. He was 30 years old when he got to the Big Ten. Yes, I think you'd be if this was his resume. So in answer to Gopher's question, if his name was Richard Turman, I think so. He won the NIT. Do you remember his first year at Minnesota, JJ? The year he finished 7th in the Big 12, or I'm sorry, in the Big 10. He won the NIT. Went to the NCAA in 16-17 and got to the second round of the NCAA in 18-19. Yeah. I honestly, yeah. And I think this, you would be looking at him, and I think this is good. He can recruit and he can coach, and he's off the right tree, and he does it the right way. And I looked a lot into the whole Minnesota stuff this weekend. And by the way, did you see what his daddy did this weekend? Did you see Iona? Fifth team that Rick Pitino's taken to the NCAA tournament. And Iona won the MAAC champion, the MAC championship. I think Richard Pitino, he's got a great reputation. He does things by every account, does it clean and does it the right way. Wants a chance to win.
So a little different than the family business so far.
No, I understand. He does it different than the way the family business is run. Yeah. And by the way, who's winning at Minnesota and finishing 4th and winning an NIT championship? That league is brutal. I mean, look at just this year, right? And they won some games this year now. Did you look at what they went out and did this year? Like if you went down and look at this year's team, I know they went out in the second round to Ohio State, but they won some games earlier in the year. They beat Purdue. They beat Michigan. When he was, before the injuries, when he was fully loaded with that team, they were beating some people this year. They beat Ohio State. Ohio State's a 2 seed. Michigan's a 1 seed. They beat Michigan this year 75-57. They beat Ohio State 80-77. I'm down with Pitino. He won an NIT championship. He's been to the NCAA tournament. Yeah, I think you would be looking at him. Yeah, I do.
And it's one you look at his recruiting classes overall, been pretty good. And you go to 24/7 rankings that ran down the last couple of years. Yeah, it's the back end of the Big Ten, but it's kind of how you'd expect that to stack up the way it's laid out. Last 3 years, if you take a look at overall, he's 51-45, 23-37 in Big Ten play. And this absolutely is a name, connections, and this would be Richard Pitino trying to reignite his coaching career.
Yeah.
And that's why he would think about making a move like this, and also everything you just laid out, not just the relationship, but why Eddie would be interested in a guy that's 38 years old. Can he find a new level in his career and thus success at the University of New Mexico? And if Rich Pitino would be thinking about the next move, well, that's fine, because you have to win to get to that next move now.
I think of some of that stuff, and would it be about? I don't even want to worry about that. That bothers me. That doesn't even come into my mind in the slightest, because I've told you, if Richard Pitino decides he's here 5 years and he's looking for the next move, that means you're in a better place than you were before, and you say thank you and you move on, and that's great. So let me give you another guy who came out of the Big Ten, who finished 7th, 6th, 8th, 4th, 7th, did tie for 2nd and 4th. Went to the NCAA second round once in those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is it 9 years? 2, 4, 6, 8 years in the Big Ten. Steve Alford. Okay. Steve Alford was okay at Iowa. They were running him out at Iowa, is what everybody tells me, right? That it didn't work at Iowa. You took him here. He was a big name, but he went, and now I would tell you it's easier to win at Iowa. Can we universally agree it's easier to win at Iowa than it is at Minnesota in basketball?
Yes. I think Iowa is higher up the pecking order.
7th, 6th, 8th, 4th, 7th, tied for second and lost the first round, and then fourth. I mean, it's probably okay. It's a little bit better, but it's not horribly dissimilar, is it? Would you say that Steve Alford's numbers coming over from Iowa when he came here are not horribly dissimilar than what Richard Pitino would bring from Minnesota?
They're not. He was 152, 106 was Alford in his time at Iowa.
61 and 67 in conference.
Won 2 conference tournament championships, 3 NCAA tournament appearances. So there's a little more oomph on that.
Okay, Pitino's been to 2 NCAAs instead of 3, and he won an NIT championship. I mean, Alfred's numbers would be a little better, which would somewhat coincide with Iowa being a better job, being a better program, right? I mean, it's not that far off. So I don't know. But when you start to think about it, so it's all coming off of that one question. If his name was Richard Turman, would Lobo fans give a second look? I think yeah, I think they would. And he was 30 years old when he started in the Big Ten. He's been there 7-8 years now, and it's a lot of really, really good experience. So I look, yes, I'm telling you. I don't know who you think you're getting. Like again, Krzyzewski's not coming here. John Wooden's not walking through that door. What did Rick Pitino say the other day? Billy Donovan's not walking through that door, right? Yeah. Well, the more you look at Rick Pitino, and by the way, the more you study Tim Miles, it's not a horrible hire if it was Tim Miles. The more you look at what Tim Miles did. Now, if you ask me, this is just me sitting here, and I think you're on the same page. Do you like Pitino or Miles better? I think you go Pitino, right?
Yeah, and it's the been there, done that. And that's what I think it's hard to get over, that mental hurdle in your head for a lot of Lobo fans, and even looking at it right now, because you run down Pitino and Miles, they're the same person. Like, you're selling the same thing. Average success in the Big Ten, but that experience, and you give them an opportunity come to New Mexico where there's different emphasis placed on the basketball program. You look at what he would be competing against. That's what the whole reignite and the coaching career thing would come from, is lean on all that experience, the connections that you have and built, and then build something at the University of New Mexico.
Yeah. Bottom line is Richard Pitino wants to be at a place that he can win championships every year. I think most of you, except for Wayne, believe that this is that place. Steve Alford proved that, right? Steve, you can be in a position where you can win on a regular basis. 505-246-0610 is how to get to us, 888-922-0610, and you can send emails, Jeff or JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. See you.
The madness is upon us, so let me introduce you to F45 training. If you're looking to kick it up a notch this month of March, F45 training is the place for you. It's a mix of circuit and high-intensity training. The classes are awesome. 45, it's for 45-minute classes. There's no wasted time, and it's a different class every single day. What do we have this weekend? We had Hollywood on Saturday, Moonhopper on Sunday, and it's a different mix in each one. Hollywood, by the way, it's a 1-hour class, which is always a fun way to get your Saturday going. They're certified trainers there to help you every step of the way, each class. And the way it's set up is you're going to be comfortable. You're going to be in a position in which it's an atmosphere that is safe. There's plenty of room to do your workouts, and the training is set up in a way that you have pods, the stations, you run through it, you're feeling good, you're excited. Check them out. They're located at 5920 Holly Northeast. You can sign up for the 7-day free trial if you're unsure. I was at first getting back into it the year that it's been, but once you get into the gym, you are going to love it. The schedule has classes 7 days a week, so if you might be busy earlier in the week, you can catch up late in the week, and for me, the Saturday and Sunday morning classes work out great. Check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app so you can try your 7-day free trial. Book your class. You got to book your class so they can help with class sizes. And come join us down at F45 Training. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it.
Coming in soon, double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high, window, scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish. What a...
Around the screen, against White, step back, it's blocked! JB with the block!
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good. What a three that is by Jalen.
Hito puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it.
There goes. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Natalia Chavez, good spin. Takes him.
Ramos. Nice jump stop through the...
Maybe gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a...
Hill, little step, high window, and a...
Got the second.
The middle.
Here we go, 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry, Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup.
Gallegos spins, window, finishes.
There's nothing that inspires me about the Patino story, no matter what you say, and Miles even less. In fact, if Nunez does hire either one, maybe it's time for him to be relieved of his job at UNM. Really? All right, John. This is where I tell you everybody can do the job better. All right, so who's your guy, John? You offered me no. You said that they don't inspire you. You got a solution? You got a better solution? I'm listening. I am. I think you're wrong, to be honest with you. I think, by the way, both of them are actually really good coaches. I understand that it might not inspire you. I do believe the Patino hire would get some people fired up. But I think, John, I just think you're wrong. I think this, again, you know what I think about this athletic director professionally. I think he's done a terrific job. And I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that, JJ? Is that if he hires either one of these, is it time for? I mean, you're just come on.
We'll find out in 4 to 5 years, and
Yeah,
everyone
right.
knows that. That's the position of an athletic director. You're not just managing what you have, but the big decisions. And Eddie Nunez is going to have a head football coach and head men's basketball coach on his resume, and that will play itself out. So he understands the importance of this hire, what it means at the University of New Mexico, just getting this right, how it can reignite a fan base, the kind of revenue that it can generate, the energy that it can bring back to the arena. So that's nothing new. Like, it's not shocking Eddie by any stretch. But of course, we do understand that he's not going to be relieved of his duties right when he makes the hire. We'll find out what it looks like in 3 to 4 years.
Well, I think that's the key of a passionate fan base is you're going to have your detractors and your supporters on everything. Why? I mean, how do you justify that if he hires either one? Why should he be relieved of his job? I just give me some. This is what I told you. The beauty and the curse of opinion forums. Everybody can do your job better than you. I mean, Jay Pole's a crappy director. I mean, anybody could do his job better. That's what, right? I mean, I could do better than him. I would have put up a different picture. I mean, why is he sitting on a 4-shot right now? Like, I mean, who does that? I mean, he should be relieved of his duties. Or is that Josh who could do? I mean, I could do that better, right? That's what opinion polls are. You guys are looking at me like I'm nuts. The whole point is opinion polls. Everybody could do. Everybody's a better, and you guys are better radio hosts than I am, and I know you could run the bowl better than me. So I mean, I got it.
And it's what you've brought up. Everyone has their guy. And it's a coaching search, and there's going to be opinions that arise, different factions that come to the table. Some people are going to be upset with the hire. That you have to deal with it. You can't think about just strictly one thing. You can't just think about, oh, I'm going to hire this guy because the majority will like the press conference.
That's right.
That's right. There's so many other factors that come into it. And yeah, when we're trying to see who is Tim Miles now, who is Richard Pitino now, there's the name with Richard, the background with Eddie that you bring into it, but also then you say, all right, this is what they've done. Now you take it down a notch, bring it back to the Mountain West. Can that experience take them to another level? Because one thing we know, though, Jeff, is Steve Alford is a fantastic coach. Like what he did at Iowa, what he did at New Mexico, it might not have been great, but he is the dude. We saw it once again at the end of this year with Nevada. Now, can you find a little bit of that with either one of these guys, if they happen to be that? Or who is that dark horse? Who is that name that we might not know? Because Kyle Keller was one of those names coming back up. And I like that Keller was in the mix because you're addressing everything. You're going, all right, here's some names, guys that might need to reignite their careers coming somewhere versus here's a guy at a mid-major that's doing it at a consistent level. We're talking Keller's 2020 Southland Coach of the Year. He's 104-46 overall, 73-15 in conference since he's been the head coach at Stephen F. Austin. I like that you're covering all your bases.
Yeah, but John may think Eddie should get fired because he's looking at Abilene Christian. I don't know what you want. I think there's a lot there. And I think he would be good. Do you want a guy who's been battling out in the Big Ten and who gets that level? I mean, there's pros both ways. Jay, good morning. Thanks for holding. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Jay.
Hey guys, how's it going this morning?
Good. How you living?
Well, chubby.
Attaboy.
As usual. So this is a very your last email was interesting to me because Lobo fan has always been that way. I remember back in the 80s when Dave Bliss was hired, everyone here thought they were getting Bobby Knight. And when Dave Bliss was hired, major disappointment. Now,
I remember that.
You can make the argument that Dave Bliss had the most successful run of any Lobo coach, including Steve Alford.
Yes.
When Richie McKay was hired, there were all kinds of names bandied about, and they ended up, in fact, I think they had Rob Evans hired.
Yeah.
And then Richie McKay, and it was a letdown to the fan base.
I think Rob's wife wanted to come over and take a look. They were over in Arizona. She wanted to come over and take a look at Albuquerque, and Rudy said, nope, I'm hiring tonight, and he hired his guy.
Right. Fran Fraschilla, I'm not sure who was up for that job, but he came in with a ton of excitement, and you saw how that played out.
Yep.
Craig Neal, there was a faction of people, a very vocal faction of people that said, well, if Craig Neal doesn't get the job, then I'm off the bandwagon I'm off this Lobo bandwagon.
Yep.
Right? So somehow he got the job. The Paul Weir thing, There were a couple of people, I believe Tom Crean, or a couple of people. They had all but hired somebody. I forgot.
Well, Steve Forbes. It was Steve Forbes and Joe Dooley were the two guys. Yeah.
Right. So, and then there was the hire of Paul Weir, and even though there was a letdown among some, there was excitement. So it seems like the history of Lobo basketball has been, or fan has been, I'm off the bandwagon if they don't hire my guy.
It's not just Lobo basketball. It's everywhere. It's every fan base.
Well, yeah. And then the other thing is it's kind of interesting that people here love to deify Steve Alford. And when you look at Steve Alford's stops, I know you mentioned at Iowa that he had success there. And the success that he had, great, certainly. But Iowa's a program that had two coaches that you could, if you're an Iowa basketball fan, there are two coaches in their history that you would consider better than Steve Alford. There's Lute Olson and Dr. Tom Davis. Both have taken them to, Lute Olson to a Final Four, Dr. Tom to an Elite Eight. Steve never got to either one of those. He goes to UCLA. There are coaches that you could say had better careers at UCLA, including Steve Lavin.
Well, including the guy he replaced. Yeah.
Right. Steve Lavin.
Ben Howland.
Ben Howland, like Final Fours and a national championship with Steve Lavin. When he was at Southwest Missouri State, the best coach there, not Steve Alford. It was Charlie Spoonhour who actually took them to, I believe, 5. Right?
So, Jay, what are we doing? Yeah, this is a hell of a history lesson. What are we doing?
So the bottom line is Steve Alford is a good coach, but in reality, he's only taken programs to where they've been, not past where they've been. Okay, and that you want to actually progress. Like the idea here is to get a coach that's going to take the Lobos to the Sweet 16, right? Not just take them to where they usually are. So I don't know if Richard Pitino is that guy. I certainly don't think Tim Miles is that guy. So I think maybe you find a mid-major coach that has a tireless work ethic to stay to do the things to get to that point and make a name for himself.
Okay. All right.
So that's
Fair
my
enough.
point.
No,
Sorry,
yeah,
guys.
Got it. No, thanks, Jay.
I was very Edward-esque, but...
That's funny. All right. It's a hell of a run down memory lane, though.
All right.
That was good.
Right.
Thanks, Jay. JJ, you got a history lesson right there in case you needed one.
Yeah, but once he got to his point, he's right on. We can sit here and go records, this and that. People aren't going to be happy. It's coaching searches in college athletics. What do you think is going to happen? Factions are going to emerge. Message boards going to go crazy. People are going to be happy or people are going to be disappointed with the candidate. But it's still about the work you've done, because no one, by the way, has gone to the NCAA tournament because of a press conference. No one's won a bowl game because of a press conference. It's the work that you put in. And once you got to that point of a guy that not just can do what you've done before, but get you past that, well, you got to be a contender in this league once again to get to that point of getting past it. And I do really like that at least there's one major coach that's coming down to the finish line that has that track record, but you also can never say never with a guy that, yeah, he might be average at this moment in time in a power conference, but is he ready to take that next step, given a different opportunity?
Well, your last hire was an up-and-coming coach, right? Look, there's no exact science to this. No matter what history you want to cite, there's something on the other side of that history. Your last coach was an up-and-coming coach from a mid-major league, right? From the WAC, from New Mexico State, who had just won a league championship, who had just gone to the NCAA tournament, who had been a long time assistant and was up, right? I mean, that's what it was. How'd that work for you? As much as you want to cite me what the formula is, you don't know. And by the way, Eddie doesn't know either. Eddie's going to go with his gut, and Eddie's going to go with the person that he thinks. But the bottom line is, you can go with a guy who's proven somewhere or a guy who's on his way up. You can go with Kyle Keller. You can go with Tim Miles. You can go with Richard Pitino. You can go with a dark horse. It's an inexact science. And that's why Eddie's doing this due diligence. There is no absolute on this. There isn't. You've gone with up-and-coming coaches before. Richie McKay was kind of, I don't know if that was that up. He was at Colorado State and then at Oregon State, right? I mean, now he's gone to 3 straight NCAAs. You can go with a guy from the Big Ten that you had success with that. That's kind of this model. JJ, your answer is right. You'll know in 4 years. You trusted your home and business security to a local company. They had an armed response, and then they sold out. You've been selected, and your security's on the brink of being bought out by a national corporate giant. That's not what you signed up for, and that's not what you have to have. International Protective Service, IPS, is not for sale. They're invested here. They care about your home and your business security like it's their own. Let the highly trained armed guards or 24-hour patrols of IPS protect what is yours. Look, I've trusted IPS for a lot of years now to protect my home. They're by every day. They come by, I see them on the cameras. If you go out of town, they'll pick up the newspapers for you, and the garbage cans get rolled to the curb and back on garbage day. They give your home that lived-in look. They do exterior checks. They protect what's yours. Property crime's on the rise. You know that. You hear it every single day. Don't wait until you're a victim. I know this is a trigger that, you say, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'll make that call. Don't wait until it's too late. Call IPS and protect what's important to you. Give your family that peace of mind. The number is 505-897-2420. That's 897-2420, or go to ipsglobal.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
He used to coach for Del Norte. And
here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Trying to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. DC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh! Against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Over. Cable to the big fella might try to jam on home.
Get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question.
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
Carolina by multiple reports today, so they should have that figured out. Is he the dark horse in this? I don't know. But Frank Martin, just looking at a bunch of reports coming out of Columbia, say that he's going to meet with Ray Tanner, the athletic director there, today. And this one is on Saturday down south, which is a publication out of there. It says a decision on the coaching future of Frank Martin and men's basketball program will be rendered this week. He's going to meet with Ray Tanner on Monday. Quote, according to sources, Martin will be presented with multiple options from the university, none of which includes remaining as the head coach. JJ, I mean, so would that put him as your dark horse in there?
Absolutely. It's a name that we've talked about from the get-go, and they're just kind of waiting on the decisions at South Carolina and the Minnesota, and then you read a little bit more into Minnesota and what Richard Pitino has to do, and makes sense with him searching for a job, and then what their mutual agreement to part ways would look like up there. So I would rank it right now with the names that have been discussed and put out there in publications and what we have touched on. I would go Pitino, Keller, and then it's Miles or Martin if they come available. And I think Frank Martin might even jump to the top then if he's like
if he becomes available today. Robert, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hi, Robert.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
I want to kind of contrast Miles with the other guys. You know, I think the reason a lot of fans don't care for Miles is, you know, there might be comparable records and places and stuff like that. You know, what he placed in the Big Ten and the Mountain West. But when you look at, like, Miles, he doesn't have anything that stands out as far as a great win or a great run. You know, it's just all blah. You know, at least Pitino, you know, I guess won the NIT is what I hear. You know, because you got to play some good games and win on the road, and you know, at a neutral place to do that. You know, and then same with Keller. You know, you got a guy like that who has a very good record, but you know, so did Menzies and Weir. But when you look at he's won on the road at Duke, and I think he won at Baylor 1 year too. So it just shows that they have the ability to win a big game, and you know that kind of thing, and not just carry on what they're doing and just have a blah career. That's what kind of looked like Miles. You know, just nothing excites you there on that. So that's kind of what I was looking at there.
Gotcha. All right, thank you, Robert. Appreciate you holding.
Thank you.
I think Tim Miles is a good coach. I think, but that, as far as fans' perception, I think he just hit it. I think he just hit it on the head. Yeah, he's done some nice things, but what does he really, you know, do we want to be? Is that? I think where Lobo fans coming from is our aspirations are beyond blah. Now, is that realistic aspirations right now? Yeah, I think it should be. Richard Pitino he won an NIT championship. He's competed in what I think we all agree is the toughest basketball league right now. The ACC has been for years, but I think it is the Big Ten right now. He competes. He beats teams like you know. There's some big wins on there, right? I mean, just this year, you look at what they did at Minnesota this year. Damn, they beat Ohio State. They beat Michigan. I mean, there's some big wins. You go and say, there's some potential there. Can he do that here? I like that. And then I'm gonna when you start looking at the the trends or the patterns, and it's not horribly different than what Alfred did, coming from, at that point, I think it was a mid-level. I think that's what Minnesota is, mid-level Big Ten school here, and having some success. There's name recognition to it, different kind of name recognition. Probably Steve had more success as a coach at that point, but I get it. But that makes sense to me. What he says. I think that's where a lot of fans are on the Miles thing.
Yeah, they just don't see what that next level is going to be. What is that extra punch with Tim Miles? That's why I think you have to put him on the list, and just in terms of where he's at in his candidacy, but he'd be at the bottom for me. And I'm really intrigued by Keller and his emergence over the weekend. I can see Richard Pitino. I can see that path to a guy that had the experience in the Big Ten, still a young coach, but you've gone through some years, and you're seasoned at 38 with that experience, and then coming to New Mexico where you got some teams to chase down, man. This is San Diego State's conference right now. And what Nico Medved, Craig Smith have done over the last few years to ignite their programs at Utah State, Colorado State, we'll see where maybe they fall in the coaching search. But you're going to have work to do, but you absolutely have a program at the University of New Mexico that can compete and be in that situation like Colorado State, Utah State, Boise State. And Pitino is very intriguing as a guy to kind of come in here, not just reignite his career, but reignite this program.
Look, as good as Boise State, Colorado State, I'll even give you Utah State. Utah State's that good because they just hit the lottery with Neemias Queta. Like, honestly, without Queta, they're a really average team. Do you disagree with that?
But that's the whole point of it.
No, I got it.
The Lobos didn't land him. They were talking about him.
Right.
They didn't land him.
Yes.
Sam Merrill went to Utah State.
Mm-hmm. No, they've got good players. They got really good players, and they're a good program. And Craig's a hell of a coach, but you can't win without players. The San Diego State thing is going to be interesting. Like, I think this league, if Brian Dutcher, now I don't know who's, assuming Richard Pitino comes, not if it comes here, assuming Richard Pitino leaves Minnesota, whether he comes to New Mexico or not, and I think this is a big if, Brian Dutcher goes to Minnesota, this league's wide open again. San Diego State has built a great program over the last 2 decades. I've told you I think they're the second best basketball program in the Western United States. I say that. I mean, hell, Arizona's not in the tournament. UCLA's in the play-in game, right? I think on the West Coast, San Diego State is the second best. And Oregon would be the Pac-12 team that I'll tell you recently would be in there with them. But if Brian Dutcher leaves, now that Steve Fisher, Brian Dutcher chain is broken. What happens? I think whoever comes in there picks up a great job, and I don't think they fall off the cliff. I don't, but I could see a speed bump there. How sustainable is what's going on in Boise and Colorado State? I don't know. This league is there. Like within 2 years, you can be back in the upper echelon of this league. Do you disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree with it. You get the right coach in here, talent-wise. That's what it comes down to: player acquisition. Who you're able to bring in, it's that mix of developing guys to have a stable foundation, but you have to hit on the transfer market. You have to find impact players in the next year or two. Your whole philosophy can't be that, but it has to be a part of it. That's how Nevada was good this season. You look at Boise State, that's how they added to their pieces and were able to go on a run and at least be in contention until the final week of the season. So, yes, the pieces are there. It can be done.
All right, 505-246-0610. I got a bunch of emails. You can get in on that. You can get in on what happened over the weekend, too. All the hoops over the weekend. Want to hear from you on that. Hey, 2003, I think, was the year. I was anchoring morning news at Channel 13, putting in contacts and glasses and just dealing with my eyes early in the morning. And then I went and saw Dr. Coleman over at Coleman Vision. He specializes in treating astigmatism with LASIK. He's been doing this since 1998. And at that point, I didn't know what I had, but I had a high degree of astigmatism, which is one of the reasons I went to see him. I had the LASIK surgery, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, woke up instantly noticed the life-changing difference, anchored the news at 5 o'clock the next morning, and my life has been changed for the better ever since. The technology at Coleman Vision is cutting edge. Dr. Coleman has played a significant role in developing and testing the current technology that he uses. It's not just here in New Mexico, but they use this around the world. Technology originated at Sandia Labs right here in New Mexico. For years, patients have come from all over the country. They have their LASIK done at Coleman Vision because they know of Dr. Coleman's reputation and the fact that he has been in private practice specializing in LASIK for his entire career. Coleman's have become family to me. They changed my life, and I strongly suggest if you think you are a candidate for LASIK, you call Coleman Vision. It is, I can't even tell you, amazing does it no justice. Life-changing is what it was. Coleman Vision is the best. It's the only place to go. When you walk in, you'll realize that. Go to their website. Take a look at what they've got at colemanvision.com, and then give them a call, make an appointment. 505-821-8880. That's 505-821-8880. Seeing is believing, and I absolutely believe.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Moreno extra pass, and Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Another steal by Divino Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. The lob tagged by Osi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham.
Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20!
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kiss.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this, they're not going to score again. Look at this.
Up top. Yes, and the finish for Agbaiosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Divino Lovato. Up high, down hard for Agbaiosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in.
Touchdown.
This, Ronnie said, TPC Sawgrass. What an exciting finish at TPC Sawgrass. Can't be anything but happy for Justin Thomas. Played a great back nine on Sunday. Also, what happened to your prediction with Rory? He faded faster than a maid on laundry day. Yeah, Rory struggled. I picked Rory. You picked Fee. Now they both were not good.
Wasn't great. Not great, Jeff. Not great.
Yeah, I was wrong, Ronnie. How about that? I was wrong. How about that?
Thomas was phenomenal over the weekend. How about Lee Westwood back-to-back weekends being right there?
Dude, so the putt he missed on 17, he's turned pro. He was playing with Bryson DeChambeau, and Westwood birdied the last hole. So
I love that comparison, by the way. DeChambeau and then Mr. Westwood.
So Mr. Westwood turned pro in 1993. Bryson DeChambeau was born in 1993. Those were the two gentlemen playing in that final group yesterday at TPC Sawgrass. How cool is that? I watched so much of that golf this weekend. And Westwood grinding, and that putt that he lipped out on 17 is what cost him, because then he birdies 18. Just lipped out that par putt on 17. He was good, man. I was rooting for him because he's always so close. And by the way, I'm going to root for a guy who's got a little bit of a belly and gray beard. Like, I'm just, you're going to get.
That is the beauty of golf. Yes, it takes an athletic talent to play that game, but to see someone like Bryson DeChambeau who's just out there going, you know what, I want to play the game this way. I want to hit the ball 400 yards, see what happens, versus Westwood, which is your classic driving to the fairway, hit your approach shot close,
make a putt
for show.
Yep. Yeah, and you're going to get there one day. By the way, the guy that's got a little bit gray in his beard is who you're going to root for. You're maybe a little thinning hair. You're going to root for that guy, but a little bit not ripped stomach. His fiance is his caddy. He's never won a major, and this is kind of the fifth major, right? And it's a Players Championship, which is so big. You like DeChambeau? Were you rooting for him down the stretch?
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with DeChambeau. He definitely can whine too many times, but I love the personality that he brings. You know, he brings an edge to it. He wants to try something different, and I think it's great for the game of golf that you do have, there's a wide variety of guys that are competing and winning, from, the up-and-comers, Colin Morikawa, to where DeChambeau is, to a Justin Thomas, to a Lee Westwood. It's great for the tour.
Yeah, and everybody can have somebody that's like them in some respect, or a rooting interest. DeChambeau is become a little Dustin Johnson-esque to me. He's not just the bomber, right? And there was, years ago, he hits the ball a long way. Well, Dustin Johnson became a phenomenal golfer. His short game got so much better, and he putts. DeChambeau's his whole game is terrific. Now he had that hole on 12. Was it 12, where he pumped one into the pine straw off the other side of the. Oh my gosh, what is going on? Oh my God, right? That whole thing. And Westwood was in trouble on that same hole. I mean, great double bogey, by the way, to come back and save just a double on that. But he's got the whole package, man. He's scary. And if it wasn't for the fact that I know golf is witchcraft, he's your next guy. Oh, he's gonna go and he's gonna go after Tigers. Nope, nobody is. Because A, there's too many of these guys, and B, it just comes and goes so quickly. But his whole game, it's not just about him hitting the ball.
We just won a major last year. Yeah. It worked. It paid off. His approach, he's like, no, I just want to do something different and see what happens. It won him a major. It worked.
He's so good. JJ needs to work on his hot takes when he appears on the big stick, Jeffers. For example, he can yell, the schools need to be open while ignoring the fact that Cumulus is still shut down. Really, Ren? We're working. Are we working? Are we? Come on now. I mean, I'll yell it too. The schools need to be, I guess, did you say the schools should be open, but we're still shut down? I don't know. Were you on with Brandon? I don't know.
Talked sports on Friday, but I didn't.
Yeah. Ren says you need to work
about the schools being open.
I don't know. Why can't they both be true? The schools need to be open. Our corporate, we're still doing business just as efficiently, by the way, as we would do business if we were sitting in the studio. Now, yeah, we may have a internet glitch here and then. I'm not sure what that was.
He needs to work on his hot takes.
Yeah, that wasn't a great hot take, Ren, with all due respect. All right, I'll get more of these. I got a bunch of emails. Keep them coming. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Women are going to find out today their fate. Which postseason tournament are they in? Cross country is going for a national championship as well. Josh and J Pole are producing for you on the ProView Networks. Hi, send me an email. You can do better than them. Why are they on the 4-shot? I don't know. Why are they dancing? Why is he wearing that stupid United full zip again? I know. Everybody can do better than me and you. I know.
Caliente.
Hace mucho caliente, no? It's the opening drive. Hace mucho caliente on ProView Networks and 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili, breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And hot and sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. BC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh! Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam one home.
let's get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. Don't sweat the technique. This is the opening drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and JJ Buck. Don't sweat the technique.
All right, what do you got? I know you got a lot. You got brackets in your hand. You're trying to figure it all out. Well, you know. 505-246-0610. That's how to get to us. 888-922-0610. Emails come in, Jeff at 610, or Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. We're on the ProView networks as well. All right. You want to get in the brackets, you can. We've been having a conversation, and we will until the level coach is hired, and then you'll have a conversation about that, about how you would have hired a better coach, which is fine. Richard Pitino is still a finalist. It's down to 3. 2 of the names that you've heard over the weekend, Tim Miles, Richard Pitino, Kyle Keller, 2 of those 3 are still in, and there's a dark horse. I don't know if it's Frank Martin or not, JJ. The Frank Martin thing is still really interesting to me. Frank Martin is going to meet with the athletic director at South Carolina today. I imagine there's a scenario where he could become available as of this afternoon, and then what? I mean, then who's your front runner? I think Richard Pitino's your front runner. I think, and I'm good with that. By the way, actually, I think I'm really good with that. I think that's a good hire. But then, if you throw Frank Martin into the mix, does that make you start to think differently? Do you like that better? Frank Martin's a heck of a coach, been to the Final Four. Certainly there's the ties to Eddie in regards to Eddie played for him in high school. So does that thing get thrown into the mix? And if not, this could be wrapped up, I'm going to guess, as soon as tomorrow.
Yeah, so if Frank Martin does become available, you think, all right, it's Richard Pitino, Frank Martin, Keller, and then does Miles potentially get pushed out? It's interesting to see, what level Tim Miles is on right now, because the dude wants to work and he's going after all the jobs, and he said he's got a good reputation where he's going to get the interview. He's going to have conversations, but just how high in the pecking order is he? And so if you're Eddie Nunez, I think he conducted interviews over the weekend, you're going through your final conversations, you're talking to those that are close to you, you're looking at all the details, the financials of, okay, what could this mean if we go this direction, and then give yourself 24, 48 hours to finalize it, allowing potentially Frank Martin situation to play out, and then that could add another flight into the mix. You might meet Frank Martin somewhere, have a conversation, but yeah, it's feeling like we're going to know something this week.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it probably happens this week. So if you want to get there, you can. Let's go to the phones at 505-246-0610. Hello, Ray. How you living?
Good, man. I'd like Pitino to come over here because, like you say, usually when a coach leaves, he might be able to bring a couple of big boys with him from Minnesota to transfer with them if he wants to bring them over here. We got a bunch of scholarships available. And the guy for Siembieda, I think he'd be good too. It's a pay rate, and look what he's done. And he probably would stay here a lot longer than maybe Pitino would, because maybe Pitino in 2 or 3 years, if he's doing good here, the big school's going to try and get him, and his buyout's not going to be nothing for them big schools to pay for him to go to those big schools.
So what? So Ray,
I don't think so, because he left Nebraska. He wasn't broadcasting by choice. I just think he didn't get no interviews for job openings, and that's my take on it. But either one of those guys would be good. Pitino would bring some big boys here, big names, all stars, and that's what the Lobos need. They need to get some players in here.
Yeah, they do. All right, Ray. Look, I think one thing Richard Pitino can do, JJ, I think he can recruit. Right? I think do we kind of all come to a consensus on that?
His recruiting classes were fine when you compare them to what he was recruiting against and the level. You had a couple top 30 classes in there, averaging around probably 50 over the last 5 years. Just in the 24/7 rankings I was looking back on, just to see what he's been able to do. And yeah, it's a situation that for Pitino versus Tim Miles, while their resumes are similar in terms of what they did in Big Ten play, I think a lot more people would be leaning towards Pitino in this case.
Yeah, all right. 505-246-0610. Would he bring players with him is always interesting. He'd recruit. I don't know that you're clearing out the Minnesota roster and bringing them over here right now. You're playing different leagues, different players, different regions, different interests. Mm-hmm. But I have no doubt that you would be competitive. I'm not telling you you'd win a championship next year. I think you would be competitive next year if that's the way you went.
And also, I think most people realize, too, you can't hire based on, well, maybe this guy's only going to be here 3 years, but this guy will be here 6 years. Is this guy good or not? Can he bring your program to a level of success that makes him a wanted commodity? Then that's a good thing overall. Because to me, whether it's Richard Pitino or Kyle Keller, if those guys in 3 or 4 years are winning at a high level, school's going to come for either of them.
Look, and again, Ray, on that point,
Francisco on the line.
Everybody, Dean, everybody's moved. Everybody uses something as a stepping stone. Where was Roy Williams before he was in North Carolina? Wasn't he at Kansas? Like, if he's here 4 years and turns your program into a championship caliber program, and then moves on and gets paid and goes somewhere and doubles and triples his salary, you know what you do? You shake his hand, you say thank you, you pat him on the back, say good luck, and you move on because your program's in a better place. That's how it is. You're not getting a 38-year-old coach who's going to be here for 40 years until he retires, or 30 years until he retires. It's just that's what you do. And whether it's San Diego State or Kansas or New Mexico, that's what you do.
Francisco
and
James.
If in fact that's what happens, I'm going to tell you win. I'm going to tell you win in that situation. And you'd say, wow, Eddie made a good hire. That's not something to be afraid of. That's something that in some respects you hope for. Francisco, Absolutely. Good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hi, Francisco.
Hello?
Hello, Francisco.
Morning.
Hey, man. What's up? Yeah, you're on the air, bro.
Hey, yeah. Hey, obviously, if we get Frank Martin, he would be the most accomplished coach, I think, since Bob King, which I really like the guy. I love defense first, and you can see San Diego State defense, I mean, come on. The way they turned it up on that second half against Utah, that was impressive. Very impressive. And you can win a lot of games like that, and I think you have to go that route. I always think that defense, especially, you can develop some offense and get by rebounding. You got to play defense, man, and we saw that the lack of that with Weir's teams. I mean, come on, they were horrible defensively. But I'm okay with Patino also. The thing is, you got to look at McKay. He went through his trials, and then he ended up at Liberty, and he found his spot. Maybe this is the spot for Patino. This was the spot for Alford. I mean, Alford didn't have that great of a resume when he came here, like you were saying. So I'm okay with either of those guys. I'd be happy with them. I think they could bring something to the table. Both of them, definitely. And, hopefully we get this done quickly and move forward. Thanks, guys.
All right, see you. Brew and James, you're in the play-in game. Good morning. You're also on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Play-in game for UCLA. Is like the second time in the last 5 years?
I don't care. We're young, guys. We're young. We're in, though. And we're in. And as for your coach, for UNM, if I'm you guys, I go for Becky Hammond and get a little NBA experience on, get her here in New Mexico. Hey, she's got a good name, man. Becky Hammond, I'll do her. I would hire her. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I would hire her and hire me as a recruiting coordinator. Yeah, buddy. Have a good one. Take care, guys.
I do believe that was an innocent slip. Should I give him the benefit of the doubt on that one?
Becky Hammond, I would be all about that. Colorado State alum, working her way up the ranks, right there with Greg Popovich, San Antonio Spurs. Why the heck not?
All right, throw Becky Hammond into the list if you want.
Put her on the list.
505-246-0610. Keep them coming. 888-922-0610.
A list that you should be on is F45. Book your class today. Come join me at F45 training. It's a mix of circuit, high-intensity training, and it has been awesome to be back in the gym. The last year has been crazy for so many people, but have you thought about your health in terms of fitness as we've all tried to get by? And as we start taking steps forward, F45 is a great place to kickstart your fitness or challenge yourself to get to the next level. I love it because of the classes get me going. I like to mix. Yeah, I still do weight training, traditional weight training, bench press, etc., all that stuff. But the classes are so much fun when you're mixing in full body movements, sets where it's 45 seconds, 10 seconds off, 45 seconds on, 45-minute classes, no wasted time, and it's a different class every single day. There's certified trainers on site to help you too. If you might be someone that isn't used to circuit or high-intensity training, they're there to help you every step of the way. And it's for all fitness levels. You're not going to feel overwhelmed because you're just going to be focusing on your workout, your sets, and where you're at. F45 Training. Check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app so you can look at the class schedules this week. Sign up for your free 7-day trial, no strings attached, because once you get into that gym, you're really going to like it. And it's to help them manage the class sizes because it's still a safe environment, as safe as it can be right now. The pods are spaced out. You're going to have enough room to do your exercise. You're not going to feel overwhelmed when you go to F45 Training. That's what I really enjoy about it. They have the monitors on the wall that help you keep track of what exercises you're at, what station, what is coming up next, and it's been a lot of fun to be going to F45 over the last few weeks. They're located at 5920 Holly Northeast, so it's really good access, Paseo and I-25. 7 days a week they are open, so you can find a class that fits your schedule. I'm a big fan of the Saturday and Sunday morning workouts. Yeah, I'll keep telling you about that because it's a great way to catch up or get your week kick-started with a nice Sunday morning workout. So check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app. Team training, life-changing, and I hope to see you at F45 Training.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff. One scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough. Back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
It's his second field goal. He's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good...
Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20! Well, he needed to get his legs back under him. Ooh, little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer.
Look at this. They're not going to score again. Look at this.
Up top. Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak. Ahead of the pack. Davina Lovato. Up high. Down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split
Isn't
to the
even
left.
orange barrels up on Candelaria Boulevard, detouring Saturday 770 listeners to the Mountain West Championship game. It almost feels like we're still waiting for men's basketball season to begin around here. It does in some respects. It's really weird. No New Mexico teams, unless the ladies get in. JJ, are you holding out hope? Or are you telling me I'm stupid to hold out any hope?
You can have hope, but I think the reality is it's a very, 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 very small chance they get in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. All right. Can you get Bradbury on tomorrow, one way or the other?
We can work
Can
on
you
that.
work can you work your connections on that? Because one way or another, we're going to be talking about a first round matchup somewhere. So hopefully we can do that. All right, now we're a real talk show. It's been a while since we've heard some Mud. Mud, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Mud.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. I thought I'd give my 2 cents for this coaching search, man. And what I would like to see is not Tim Miles. Anybody but Tim Miles. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. But I'm going to be on the bandwagon with all the other fans that think that this is a mediocre hire. I think that the Lobos deserve better than that. Coaching. What are the players saying? I mean, we hear what the fans are saying, but what are the players saying? I mean, what kind of coach do they want to be coached by? I mean, I hear everybody calling in and saying this and that, but I would like to see what the players would say.
So let me ask you this: if you heard what the players said, how much weight would you put on that? Because A, you don't know how many are going to be here, and if they are here, I mean, how much weight do you give what the players want?
I mean, they're here to play for a coach that, you know, they would want to play for. I don't think there's going to be a mass exodus from the university, the Lobos or anything, but you know, there's some players that might say, well, I can't do that kind of style or whatever, or maybe it's not exciting as before. I know that Coach Weir, you know, he didn't have the defensive playing that most fans would like. You know, I'm more of a defensive team, man. I think if you have a better defense, then you win games, man. I mean, you can't just go up and down the court like you're playing a pickup game at the Wiles Park Community Center or anything, man. So I would like a coach that has a little bit more discipline, goes after his players, and makes sure that they learn the fundamental of basketball, man. I mean, that's what was lacking with Coach Weir. And another thing too, man, I don't see anybody throwing any names out there. Like, I know that they're down to their last 3 names or 4 names or whatever you want to say, but I didn't hear anyone say anything about the high school ranks, man. I mean, there's a lot of good coaches here in the state of New Mexico. If people want to say, well, let's stay in the state of New Mexico, let's hire from New Mexico or whatever. I have a good buddy that won state a couple years ago at West Mesa High School, girls basketball coach, Coach Manny Otero, who is, you know, was the son of a Lobo legend, alumni, David Otero.
So you want to hire the girls basketball coach?
Man, I would love to see that, man. I mean, Texas Western did that, man.
Let me make sure I understand. You want to hire the girls basketball coach from West Mesa to be the Lobo men's basketball coach? Is that what you're telling me?
Hey, man, I mean, you have to give us a chance somewhere. I mean, you don't want to recycle these coaches, man. I mean, Tim Miles, come on. Is that the best you can do? I mean, he coached Colorado State to maybe a mediocre season. I mean, do you want that at the University of New Mexico, or do you want?
So I'm going to say, but I would say the same thing to you. So the girls basketball coach at West Mesa is the best you could do for Lobo men's basketball job?
Well, I'm throwing names out there. I mean, I'm not sure if he's the name, but you know, someone has ties to New Mexico. I mean. Right. That'll be a great hire. A college down to the south by the name of Texas Western hired a girls basketball coach. I mean, come on. I mean, look what happened there. I mean, UTEP was good for a lot of years under Don Haskins, you know. But
they were in a different place than UNM. No, Mud, it's a good call, and I appreciate it. And don't be a stranger, Mud. Thanks for the call. So let me go back up. You know, ties to New Mexico. There's a lot of factors. There, to me, and unless I'm missing something, there's not one, JJ, overriding thing. Are ties to New Mexico good? Yeah, that's something to put in the mix. Previous coaching, sure. Success, all of these things. Mud had me, and a lot of what he was kind of saying to me sounded like Frank Martin in so many respects. And then he says, well, but how about the coach Otero, the girls coach? Come on. This program, you know, you'd lose your mind. You would lose your mind if you hired a girls basketball coach from any high school. Now, I'm not going to pick on West Mesa, or even a regular high. Like it worked in the 70s or 60s at Texas Western for a program that had no expectations. totally different scenario. I mean, Bud, I love your passion and I'm down with you, but that's not where they're going, with all due respect.
Everyone needs a chance, but the chance for a high school coach to make the immediate jump to the Division I level is not happening at the University of New Mexico.
It's amazing to me in some respects because, Level Fan thinks they can get Rick Pitino, not Rick, right? I mean, they think they can get like all these big name coaches, and you're talking about coaches who've been in the Big Ten, and this is why this is impossible as far as pleasing people. You've got people all over the spectrum from to steal a guy from UCLA or wherever to take the girls coach at West Mesa High School. You're all over, and that's where Global Fan is. And that's why Eddie's just got to – I hope Eddie gets Eddie's guy. This is where I am on this. I hope he gets his guy, not Dave Williams' guy, not Ed Mazzanatis' guy, not the president's guy. Eddie goes out and gets his coach, feels comfortable with the hire that Eddie makes, and wears it and owns it and lives it. Because if you start wanting to please everybody, you're not going to. And with all due respect to Mud, and I think I was down with him when he was on you need a defensive guy, and it sounded like Frank Martin in a lot of respects where he was going. But this particular job, as much as you love New Mexico, I love New Mexico too. There was a point 25 years ago where I wasn't from here. I came in and I've hopefully done okay in the last 25 years. Steve Alford wasn't from here. At one point, Bob King wasn't from here, nor was Norm Ellenberger. Give it a chance. I see what you're saying, and if Coach Otero wants to be a head men's basketball coach in college basketball, he has that opportunity. But his first job probably is not going to be at the University. Is not going to be at the University.
It's not going to be at UNM. Yes, there's a lot of good coaches out there, but there's a lot of factors that go in to discussing. All right, who do you know? How are you putting your staff together? How do you go from coaching high school basketball to recruiting for college basketball?
No, look, I'm with you. Sometimes I shake my head and I'm down. Like Mud, it's not like the worst thing ever. It's just it's not where it's going to go here. And so we can talk about the coach at Highlands or the girls coach at West Mesa or the coach at Las Cruces, all we want. But that's not where this is going. And I don't think, like down deep, do you think that's where people want it to go? Do you think that's what people? We've had a few people. How about Coach Benjamin down at Cruces? And do you think that's what people want? A guy who's learning on the job at UNM how to recruit, how to run a Division I men's basketball program?
People don't want that. It's the names they throw out are people they know.
Yeah. I think you're right. I really do think you're right. All right. So I'll dismiss that. 505-246-0610. I don't mean to be dismissive, but it's just, it doesn't matter because that's not where they're going. Right? It's just not what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you about Coleman Vision, and I'm going to tell you about it a couple times a day just because it changed my life. And people say, well, I don't know if I'm a candidate. Well, go find out, because you can go into Coleman Vision on any given day, and you can sit in the office and you'll see. I mean, the people who are in there range from doctors to lawyers to college kids to housewives, firefighters, police officers, nurses, healthcare system, people getting ready to retire. They want to live a different lifestyle without glasses or contacts. And of course, there's been a lot of athletes who find that glasses and contacts interfere with their training and their competition. Pro golfers, tennis players, soccer players, whatever it is that's bothering you with your eyes, call Coleman Vision and see if you're a candidate for LASIK. I'm going to tell you, there's not a lot of things in your life that you can say are life-changing. The LASIK that I had at Coleman Vision back in 2003 was life-changing. I had this surgery when I was anchoring the morning news. I was dealing with the contacts and the glasses and makeup getting in it. It was misery. Plus, it was early in the morning and I hated it. Went in, saw Dr. Coleman, had my LASIK at 1 p.m, opened my eyes short time later, and ding, it was like a light went on. And I anchored the news at 5 o'clock the next morning, without glasses, without contacts, and I haven't worn glasses or contacts since. I mean, it's reading glasses because as you get older, that's natural. But it was amazing. If you think you're a candidate, if you want to know more, there's only one place, and it's Coleman Vision. Dr. Coleman and everybody over there, they become family. I love the place. I love the people. and I love what they did. The results are unbelievable. ColemanVision.com is the website. Go take a look. And then call and make an appointment. 505-821-8880. It's 505-821-8880. I'm telling you, seeing is believing. And I sure as heck am believing.
You can bring a ray of positive light to a gloomy world.
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores. Got into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo. Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Going to settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side post. Shot on aim. Goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's going to go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos. Get it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Stripped. Daniel stripped him. Compiling the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it. What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbayosi throws it down.
As Pavi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion.
Jeff, that call gives a bad name to everyone named James. It sounds like he is dipped into the NCAA tournament refreshments a little too early. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. He's not used to being in that play-in game. Reply to Jay, Ren says. Did I already say that? He says it took 17 minutes to say Lobo basketball needs to look for a successful mid-major coach. Is that what he was trying to say? I kind of got lost. Yeah, I did too during his call. It was a good history lesson, though. 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. 888-922-0610. This is from Bill. He says, I'm a Lobo coach. Guys, records can be good or bad, but in the case of Patino and Miles, Alford, Weir, all coaches you are relying on, 17 to 19-year-olds to produce, develop, not get in trouble, and et cetera. If last year's Lobos did not get in trouble, would we be hiring a coach right now? Same with the COVID year. I'm reminded of a comment Gary Colson once said. It was something like this. He said, coaching college basketball is like watching teenagers running around out there with your paycheck. It's from Bill. Coaching college basketball is like watching teenagers run around out there with your paycheck. JJ, I told you this so many times. Being a coach and athletic director, you can do everything right, but it comes down to, did that kid hit the shot? Or did an 18-year-old make a kick? Or did a 19-year-old miss a block? Or did a 20-year-old miss a tackle? And you either had a good week or a bad week. I mean, honestly, right? It literally comes down to that. You put them in position to make plays. You prepare them to make plays. But his question, when he says, if last year's Lobos didn't get in trouble, would we be hiring a coach right now? If Carlton Bragg did not get that DWI, if there were not those allegations against J.J. Caldwell, would we be having this conversation right now?
I don't think we would be.
Because you think last year's team would have been an NCAA tournament team or a postseason team?
Or at least they would have, I think, finished the season differently and been on the cusp of a postseason berth, competing till the end atop the Mountain West Conference. With the way this team was playing until Caldwell and Bragg were suspended, absolutely. I think they would have been in that conversation, and then you would have had a different feeling about this season where more things would have been put on the circumstances as opposed to the record over the past 4 years.
So college coaching is like watching teenagers running around with your paycheck. Yep. So much is out of your control, and that's why it's such an inexact science. Players make plays. Now, Coach K's players tend to make more plays than, Paul Weir's players did, right? It just seems to be that way. Calipari's players seem to make a lot more plays. I mean, yeah. Right?
Well, they're all not coaching in the NCAA tournament this year.
How about that? No Duke, no Kentucky, Michigan State and UCLA in the first four. No Indiana. I mean, it's the real world. It happens. That's why I always tell you, man. It's getting to the postseason is a privilege. It's not a right. And any given year, you look at whether it's bowl season or whether it's the NCAA tournament, who's not in, and it's something. I think one of the things that Eddie's really looking at, and I think this is a big deal, and I think it should be, and I appreciate it, and certainly coming off of what he's coming off of. What kind of coach, what kind of mentor is his next head coach going to be? And Eddie talked a lot about character in the press conference, and coming off of what he came off of, last year still ringing in all of your ears, right? Last year is such a bad taste, A, because it happened, but B, because you were 10-1, 11-1 when it all went down, and because you saw this path, you were back on your path to being where you want to be. You were beating people. You beat Wisconsin, right? You were, look at that. We got a legitimate big man. We got a legitimate scorer. We got a really good point guard. We play defense now. Look what just happened. And it went kaboom. And it went kaboom because of what happened off the court. And I think when you start looking at Richard Pitino, Tim Miles, Frank Martin, even Kyle Keller, what kind of mentor is it, right? And when one of the things Eddie says a lot, and I've kind of always thought this, just not necessarily in these terms, but I've always lived this way. Who are your mentors? You look at where Eddie came from, right? Eddie played for Frank Martin. He played for Billy Donovan. He played for these guys who formed him, and I think he would tell you. And then the administrators with whom he's worked along his way, the mentors who have formed who he is professionally. And I think in a large part, personally, I think that's what he's looking for. And that's why I really tend to trust him on this hire, and I appreciate that, because I think, especially now, this program needs it.
Yeah, and I was thinking about just another way to put it, and I know people are throwing out everything. You can get frustrated in a coaching search. You're like, hey, my buddy's a coach over here. Why didn't you think about him? But here's the thing with Louisville basketball. It's a remodel. Like, this isn't a complete rebuild in terms of, they don't have a foundation, you need to lay everything down. We're my construction folks that to help with this analogy. But it's like the foundation is there. Like the building blocks have been put in place. You got to modernize it. You got to remodel the entire place. That's why you're not going to a high school coach. You're not just going to give someone their first opportunity. Oh, just because you might have liked him in the past, a great player. Like this is a situation that you can come in and the pieces are here to be successful in terms of the fan base, the resources a program has, the building you play in, your practice facility versus your competition in the Mountain West. And that's your focus, is competing with those teams to chase regular season and postseason conference titles, then to get to the NCAA tournament. And so this job has those pieces. It's not, hey, there's nothing here, we need to build something. Oh, so let's go get some guy and give him a chance out of nowhere. No, and that's why we're talking about a Richard Pitino, a Frank Martin if he becomes available, or someone like Kyle Keller.
Yeah, I think all that's right. I think it's right. All right, 505-246-0610. We got some more time for you to get in if you want. I got a bunch of emails. I'll get through those as well. But keep them coming. Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. All right, winter weather and then spring weather. You got them both right now. So you're getting snow, but you're getting wind, and you're getting rocks, and you're getting all the stuff that is not good to your vehicle. On the Spot Automotive Detailing is someone you should call. Their service is terrific, and what they do for your vehicle, which is one of your biggest investments, is second to none, because all this cold air, it pulls the moisture out of your paint job. And then the sand and the salt and the rocks and the junk that's flying around the air cause your paint to chip or fade. It's bad. You don't want to wash it. You don't want to detail it. You don't want to take care of it. And that's where On the Spot Automotive Detailing comes in. On the Spot, we'll get it clean inside and out, not like those quick rinses that you get to one of those drive-through places. They come to you at your home, at your office, wherever, whenever it's convenient for you, and they detail your vehicle. Inside, outside, they get everything done for you, and when they're done, it's like the day you took it off the lot. The stink, the stains, the smells, the pet hair, all that junk is gone, and your vehicle looks and feels and smells and drives like it's brand spanking new. On the Spot Automotive Detailing is phenomenal. I know everybody I talk to who says, Jeff, I called them, loves it. I haven't done. I love it. You will too. Have On the Spot Automotive Detailing come to you and detail your vehicle. The phone number is 505-859-2859. That's 505-859-2859, or visit them at otsdetailing.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Provia Sports Network. Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinal fly. To the other side, provides some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man, touchdown, wild catch. Not a defender inside. A little bit. Kowski on the sideline. Asta Manana, he's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis. Albuquerque this afternoon. 34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's grabbed. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it.
Gonna be coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a... Around the screen. Against White. Step back. It's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition. Ahead to hit on. Hit on for the 2-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance. And it's put up. And it's good. What a 3 that is by Jalen.
Hito puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Lamina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Guy goes. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Natalia Chavez, good spin. Takes a.
Ramos, nice jump stop through the.
Better coaches with winning records in D2 or JUCO schools. By the way, Weir inherited a top 25 team at New Mexico State and was never Lobo fans' choice, in spite of your opinion. Also, there's lesser D1 schools with successful coaches who'd love to get a chance at New Mexico. Why does it seem you're trying to sell fans on Patino? Didn't your idol Krebs say winners win everywhere, everyone else makes excuses? It seems like you're making excuses for a half bleep hire. All right, a couple things. I never said, did I, JJ, that Weir was Lobo fans' choice, or like never. why is this a half bleep hire? And I have a lot of idols, don't I? Krebs is now my idol too, I guess. According to this, are there better coaches at D2 or JUCO? I don't know. I mean, if a guy's winning at Plains something community college, has a better record than Richard Pitino does at Minnesota, does that make him a better coach?
Like, I'm fine, like, talking through that. Like, if you want to bring that to the table, but you're stating a fact. Like, Pitino's not going to work. Go hire a D2 coach. If you want to bring that in the discussion, bring it to the table. Instead of, like, throwing it out there like, oh, well, why are you talking about Pitino? Because this is the path that a lot of D1 schools are taking. Is it the right path or wrong path? Let's discuss it. Because I'm looking, I don't see those JUCO or D2 guys jumping the D1 jobs all the time. Now, are all these D1 schools, are they swinging and missing at that? Like, bring that to the table. Let's discuss it. But you also can't just say that Pitino wouldn't work either, because we've seen on the other side of that a lot of guys that have been kind of just average 500 power coaches get an opportunity to kind of restart their career and have success at mid-major schools. So I'm fine if you want to bring that to the table, but bring it to the table. Don't just throw it out there as an afterthought.
I'm not arguing that there are good coaches at that level. I'm not. I don't know that I know for a fact that they're a better coach than Pitino or Miles or any of these guys. It's one thing to win at the JUCO level. It's another thing to go compete against Michigan and Ohio State and Iowa and those guys. Well, Jeff, you got all the resources at Minnesota, do you? I mean, any better than your competition? Against who are you competing? It seems like you're making excuses for a half Nalga hire, he says. Making excuses. First of all, the hire isn't done yet. Would I hire Pitino? I might, yeah. Yeah, knowing what I know, and Eddie knows more than I do, I might, yeah. I tell me how this hire is so much different than Alford, by the way. Can you tell me that?
Richard Pitino didn't win a national championship as a player.
Oh, okay. All right.
And Bobby Knight is loved by so many in college basketball that you have that connection. Would Richard Pitino, when I was thinking about this, was he the first name that came to the top of my mind? No. But when you start reacting to what is there and the reports that, yep, this is a guy that is in serious consideration for the job, then you start discussing the merits of it. I do like Richard Pitino better than Tim Miles at this point in time. I would myself, be open to going down other routes, whether it's Cody Topper, things like that, which I'm sure were discussed. But you get to a point that Eddie is leaning on the conversations that he has had, the people that he knows in the business, and he's a basketball guy. And you can't worry about winning the press conference. This will play out in 3 to 4 years, and we'll find out if it's a good hire. And that's, no one wants to hear that, but that's the reality of it. Like, you can't focus on just one thing, just winning the press conference or getting a name. It's who's the best person that you believe right now can come in and remodel Lobo basketball.
Yeah, and John, look, your opinion's fine. I'm not telling you it's wrong. It's just because I have a differing opinion. But don't put words in my mouth. Like what did he say? No matter what you say, why are you trying to sell fans on? I'm not trying to. I'm giving you my opinion. It's what I'm paid to do. You don't have to. By the way, more people seem to like him than not. And no matter what you say, it was never Lobo fans' top choice. No matter, in spite of your opinion, I never said he was. Never. Don't put words in my mouth now. Marty, good morning. How are you, Marty?
Hey, guys. I'm not big on the Miles hire. I wouldn't be big on that. I just, it's kind of like football, right? I've said this before, is you first have to be successful in the conference before you can do anything, right? Before you can move on to greater heights. And, I guess Miles was okay when he was at Colorado State. I never thought there was anything special about him. Colorado State, he made the program better, I guess. It took a little time, but were they a powerhouse? Let's put it in perspective. Were they a powerhouse in the Mountain West when he was here?
No, absolutely not.
So.
No.
I don't think so. Were they San Diego State, Were they? No, I didn't see it. So, is it going to be, I think Miles would be closer to a Weir hire than anything else, really, because it's kind of, I don't know. I think it'd be fool's gold. I just don't think that would be a great hire. I do like, and there's a lot of weight to this, is the name, Patino. There's probably a lot of good mentoring there. There's probably a lot of good sources that he can, so that really just helps your program. And this is what New Mexico needs to get back to. They need to become a solid program. I think they've lost that. They're not a solid program right now, but that's what they need. They need a coach that year in, year out makes them competitive in the conference. We can't say, on a national scale. No, we need to be competitive in the conference first. We need to dominate the Mountain West first before anything else. And I think fans in general, they start looking at the big picture first rather than, hey, we can't even win a goddamn road conference game. So let's look at it from that perspective and then go from there. That's just my take on it.
Got it. Thanks. So it sounds like he's okay with Patino, right? That's what I think I heard. The maturation process of JJ, Jeffrey and Michael John. 10 years ago, I don't think he would have been pimping Saturday and Sunday AM workouts. That reeks of old married guy. I think you were putting in the work back in the day, weren't you? On Saturdays and Sundays?
Yeah. It's because I'm busy. A lot of people, throughout the week, can't find time to get to the gym. Show up. See if you can last that 45 minutes.
Dang.
I think it's old man workout. Show up. See what you got.
Oh man, this is where we are. All right. 246-0610 tomorrow. Come on in. We'll keep it going.
See what Marburg has to say about that, man. Marky Mark doing that at 45.
J. Paul, Josh, good work putting your schedules together. Maybe you could put JJ to work this weekend so we didn't have to go to the gym on the weekend.
I have more stuff to do. Let's go. Put me on the schedule. F45, soccer, basketball. Let's get it.
Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. After that, Sports Bar this afternoon at 3. And I don't know, you want to come back tomorrow morning and do it again?
Let's give it a try.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning. Micah, great work. Be good to each other, please. 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 Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you tomorrow.
One day.
That ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Forward dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wrap around pass.
Harris with Gates. The long bomb. 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quintero, lays it up and scores.
Cahola, a little jump step in the...
And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround.
Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites.